Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wise-ish, your daily power boost. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. I hope you're looking forward to watching and listening to my upcoming interview with Dr. Eben Alexander. Dr. Alexander has been a researcher and neurosurgeon for over 30 years, Harvard Medical School practice. The last thing he believed in was consciousness. The last thing he was thinking about is God. And the last thing he thought about was that we were souls until he had a near-death experience and actually departed from the consciousness of his body, saw light, saw heaven, saw relationships of the past, and came back a completely different man. So please stay tuned and look out for this interview, which will be available on Monday. It'll be available on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Blog Talk, and also on the America Meditating YouTube for you to view our conversation live. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well and life has been treating you okay. We are navigating ourselves through very beautiful times, and I think I want to emphasize on the word beautiful times. Why? Because sometimes out of the debris and chaos and confusion and darkness, it is born something of greatness, something wonderful. I remembered a rose plant in a house that I first stayed in when I was newly relocated to Washington, D.C. This was the most fragrant rose bush you'll ever smell in your life. I mean that. There was asphalt that was covered over it. Then they put an air-conditioned unit over this rose bush. And folks, that rose bush, despite all of its challenges and its situations, still gave you the most fragrant roses you'll ever smell. I'm still smelling it right now. So, is there anything happening in your life that is really tough? That is really, like air conditioned and asphalt has been thrown over you, it's trying to pull you down. But instead, you will continue to shine and be the bright light that you are. One of the most important things that I think requires a whole bunch of wisdom is that we must always remember that the soul is the living energy navigating the stories through the body. Can you imagine you were born with a part to play? Whether it's as a male or a female, rich or poor, black or white, Chinese, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, atheist, whatever. The soul is the one that's actually responsible for the interpretation of the part that you're playing. How does that sit within you right now? How are you receiving that? Give it some really, really deep thought. That means if there's anything about my life that I'm not very comfortable with, what has to change? Is it the body or is it the soul? It's the soul. And what is it that will assist the soul to make the vibrational shift that is required for me to live a kind of a unique life, a life that might be beyond all of this chaos that's going on in the United States of America? Let's say that you don't want to feed into that chaos and confusion. Then what do? Out of sight, out of mind. You don't serve it. It's of no importance to you. You create the kind of world that you want to be in, and you start to think in that way and begin to behave in the way of the thought. But the big thing here is you have to do it consistently. If whatever reason you make a promise, this is why, New Year's are coming, and the New Year's coming, and we make New Year resolutions on January the 1st. How many of us actually keep our New Year resolution? Very few. But if you make a promise to yourself, you create the thought, you act in the behavior of that thought, and you do it consistently, and you don't miss a day, you're going to become a new person. And doesn't matter what you go through or what you will need to go through to become a renewed version of yourself, the fact that you are consistent in creating your new thought about yourself will definitely manifest a person that is renewed, optimistic, maybe just a new person. It's good to be new. It's good to reinvent yourself every few years. I was talking to a friend the other day and I was sharing how there's some of us that have so much around us. We have so much goodness. We have so many blessings. And yet we walk around like nobody loves you. Nobody's blessing you. Nobody cares for you. Nobody sees you. Why? Where are you inside of your own thinking? You're in somewhere old. Have you ever visited those old forts in India? We were looking at them the other day as we prepare for the Diwali dance production. And you go and you look at those images of the old forts where kings reigned. And yes, they're ruins, and yes, they have a few more parts in it that look okay, but they're so old. And when they were built in those days, they didn't look like that. They have endured hundreds, if not thousands of years. And even though the structures are still up, they're shallow on the inside. It's nobody's home. There are no more kings or queens or kids of the kings or queens living inside of them. They've become tourist places. There's nobody home. And some of us have so much to be grateful for. But instead of being grateful, we're somewhere else. We're just not present. It's just something that we've forgotten our fragrance. We've forgotten our strength. We've forgotten that we have this. And whatever you want to believe, you can serve that belief with a thought. And all you have to do is to keep remembering that let me be consistent in thinking the way that I feel I'm being called to think by the divine. When the divine touches your awareness, your thoughts will always be noble, powerful, clear, forward-thinking, unstuck, energetic, enthusiastic. All of these are signs that you have a connection to God. Your enthusiasm will not get less. Your clarity will be there. Your love, your empathy, your creativity, your strength, your courage, your will, your determination, your royalty, your dignity, your nobility. It won't be hidden. So let this be a particular time that we hold ourselves, deep within and say, I'm going to create the thought that I wish to become. More powerful, more loving, more peaceful, more divine, happier, whatever that could be. So let's see what your blessing is going to be for today. You are the one who remains content, but you also make others content with your good wishes and pure feelings for everyone. That was absolutely perfect. Thank you so much for joining us for Wise-ish. Don't forget to keep adding a little bit of wisdom in your life every day. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And we really are here to love each other the same. Let's do that some more, especially at these times. Thanks a lot for joining us. See you soon.